Hello, my name is Maleficent, and today I am joined by esteemed philosophers. We are all here today at the Philosophers Convention Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Please introduce yourselves, philosophers.
Hello, listeners. I am Immanuel Kant.
I am Jeremy Bentham.
And I am John Rawls.
The convention this week was focused on moral concepts. Some students who came to the conference presented their conflicting opinions on a major issue among teens and high school students. Swimming classes are now a requirement in 10th grade PE at Radnor High School. Today we'll discuss whether the swimming unit in schools' physical education classes should be required or not.
In high schools across the nation, swimming classes have become a requirement for physical education and graduation. The student handbook of Radnor High School reads, 10th grade swimming is integrated into the 10th grade PE course and is required for all 10th graders, while the selective offerings are only available for 11th and 12th graders.
There are two arguments to this part of the handbook. One view could be that every student should be required to swim because it increases physical education and provides a life and survival skill. The other argument is that it is immoral to force someone to do something they may be embarrassed or uncomfortable to do. The ultimate question is whether it is necessary to make all 10th graders participate in swimming.
Before we discuss, let's take a poll. Who believes that swimming should be a requirement in gym class?
I.
And those who oppose and believe it should be an optional course?
I.
Rawls?
I'm undecided. I believe the argument could go either way.
Well, let's see if your opinion changes as you all point out your arguments.
I strongly oppose swimming as a required course. Say that there is a boy that drowns in a swimming pool. Let's call him Alfred. Could this tragedy have been prevented if Alfred had swim lessons, specifically from his school? Is it the school's responsibility to make sure that they are able to save their own life if they are put in a daunting situation? With all of the education that kids obtain at Radnor High School, why shouldn't they be taught to swim? If your answers apply to pure moral reasoning, then and only then should a person be able to make a voluntary decision of swimming.
In the hypothetical you have presented, Kant, the boy could have survived and continued his young life with the ability to swim provided by his high school. The swim class prevents the possibility of drowning and death. Isn't life more important than a few days of possible insecurity and humiliation? All 10th grade students endure the same awkwardness and embarrassment. The swimming requirement is not to single out each child and make them uncomfortable, but to provide them with a survival and life skill. The handbook states, the semester of physical activity in gym includes units based on team sports and lifetime activities. That means lifetime survival skills.
I agree with Kant. Forcing unwilling, awkward teenagers to swim is putting their self-confidence and self-esteem at risk. The school is setting them up for humiliation. Forcing students to wear bathing suits in front of their classmates can cause insecurity and distraction. Swimming classes can also lead to bullying between students for their size, appearance, or ability to swim. Behind the veil of ignorance, one does not know whether they are comfortable with their body or able to swim well. Nonetheless, at all. Behind the veil of ignorance, I believe the public would agree as a whole that swimming would not be a requirement.
I disagree with both of you. Swimming classes provide students with the education and practice necessary to be able to swim. The benefits from learning how to swim will outweigh the disadvantages. The examples you bring up, Rawls, like insecurity and embarrassment around your peers during swim class, will be unimportant when high school ends. However, the skill of swimming will last a lifetime, and possibly save a lifetime.
These are all very good questions and concepts. How do you feel the social contract may affect your decisions?
The contract is technically signed. When the student enters the school, they have to sign a paper that says they agree to the handbook. But does that make it okay to make someone do something they don't want? On the other hand, students receive benefits, like education and knowledge, from the school. Should students then have to follow the curriculum and succumb to embarrassment and insecurity for the skill of swimming?
Although you make a good point, signing the social contract should not place kids in a situation that is detrimental to their emotional well-being and a situation that could possibly be dangerous. These kids should not be required to follow a rule that puts their emotional well-being in jeopardy. Chaos will not be provoked by a small thing such as not wanting to swim in gym class.
What are the advantages and disadvantages of swimming?
The disadvantages of swimming are abundant and can have a detrimental effect on teenagers' outlook and self-image. We cannot force kids to swim because it exposes them and can make them vulnerable to insecurity. If the kids feel insecure in the swimming class and in the learning environment, it can distract them. If every second they are worrying about their image, then how can they succeed in the class?
The disadvantages in this situation, this being self-image and humiliation, do not outweigh the benefits of learning a survival skill. The small cost of embarrassment does not compete with the large value of life. Think about the hypothetical. Wouldn't the boy have rather felt insecure for a small semester of 10th grade than lose his life at such a young age? Not only did taking the swim class cost Alfred his life, but also the suffering and grief of his family, friends, and community. Thus, making kids participate in a swimming class benefits many because less lives will be lost from drowning-related deaths. Although some will be embarrassed by their body, that is a small cost for the large number of benefits from knowing how.
The handbook specifically states that all students will be required to participate. In addition to Bentham's argument, humiliation for not being able to swim should not be a worry because the classes are broken up based on skill level. The handbook also reads, quote, "The swimming component is divided into 3 levels, beginner, intermediate."
What are your final thoughts or anything important that you haven't already conveyed or would like to emphasize?
We simply cannot allow these kids to be forced to participate in swimming class. It affects their morality and how they view themselves. And for the kids that are already self-conscious, this will only increase their problem. If someone wants to learn to swim, then they are fully capable of doing that in their free time. If you can't swim, just be intelligent enough to not put yourself in potentially dangerous situations. In the end, forcing kids to swim is morally incorrect and has to be prevented.
Unit in physical education classes is a necessity. It is an important part of the curriculum. Not only does knowing how to swim and practicing swimming provide physical fitness, but it also equips each student with a survival and life skill. The small amount of embarrassment is nothing compared to the many lives it could save. Not only should the swimming unit be kept, but each student should be required to participate.
In my opinion, I think this issue could go either way. When making this rule, if everyone were to be behind the veil of ignorance, they would have chosen to not require a swim class out of the fear that they wouldn't be confident in their body or not know how to swim. However, the students did sign a contract saying that they would participate in the swim class and are also in social contract to participate in school curriculum in return for knowledge and education.
Thank you for attending the Philly Philosophers Convention.